All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us in what I believe is ATD's first ever Google Hangout. So I'm Justin Versino, and I manage ATD's Learning Technologies community practice. And today we're going to be talking about one of our new events called LearnNow. And this LearnNow event is focused on mobile learning. Obviously, mobile is a big topic these days. Everyone has a mobile device, and the learning organization is trying to figure out how we can leverage the ubiquity of these devices and get content to people where and when they are. So we're going to be talking with our three facilitators today, Sarah Gilbert, Nick Floro, and Clark Quinn. And guys, do you mind doing some quick introductions? Sarah, maybe we can start with you.
Sure. I am Sarah Gilbert, and I am normally out of Atlanta, Georgia, but right now I'm in a hotel room in Savannah. So I am the founder of Me Learning Solutions, which is a mobile and e-learning, basically a learning strategy organization, and we also design and develop content for our clients. And I am the Academy Director of the Public Health Informatics Institute, which is based out of Decatur, Georgia, and that's part of the Global Task Force for Health. And so we do a lot of work there in public health informatics, which is basically leveraging technology to help improve public health practice. So I'm really excited to be part of this LearnNow program, and with this team. We've put together a team of folks that are really heavily invested in forwarding mobile learning and in our industry and helping people like you identify ways that we can easily start going down the path of mobile in our organizations. It's something that we're very close to missing the boat on, actually, and we're really excited to put on this event for everyone and find ways to show you how to get started and give you a way to leave with practical tools and practical ways that you can start to implement mobile in your organization.
Clark, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. Thanks, Justin. I'm Clark Quinn, and I help organizations use technology in ways that align with how we really think, work, and learn. And this is a broad spectrum of technologies. I have worked in games and mobile and social learning and infrastructure and content models in a large variety of ways. But it's all trying to find how do we understand how we actually engage with the world and use technology in ways to facilitate that broader than just formal learning, but in all the ways that we can use technology to support our performance. And I do that through Quinnovation. I'm here at the world headquarters of Quinnovation in Walnut Creek, California, and mobile is one of the areas I've written on, and I find it incredibly exciting for a couple of reasons. It, everybody has these devices, but also it opens the door. People use them in such a wide variety of ways. It really empowers us to start thinking about broader ways we can use technology to make things happen to the benefit of our organizations.
Thank you, Clark. And Nick, last but certainly not least.
Thanks, Justin. Hey, everybody. I'm Nick Floro, and I'm with Steelworks Interactive Studios. My main role is as a learning architect, and I help companies and organizations figure out how to take advantage of the technology, how to create strategies for not only desktop but also mobile delivery, and really looking forward to this event and working with the team again. A lot of exciting stuff to share with you guys and have some fun.
Thanks, Nick. So I should say that the event is taking place March 9th and 10th, and it's going to be in Miami, Florida. It's a day-and-a-half event. And Sarah, can you break down a little bit about what people are going to be learning over the day and a half?
Absolutely. And so one of the things that we really put a lot of effort into in developing this event was trying to find a balance between what we get at conferences and something like a one-hour session or maybe a pre-conference workshop, and balance that between what we could have the opportunity to do in something like the mobile certificate, which is a 2-day certificate program. And so when we started to try to find a way where we can kind of get that balance of how can we show folks a practical way to start implementing mobile practice in their organization and come away with something that is something they can immediately apply. But be something a little bit more than just a conference, something where it's very hyper-focused on a specific set of tools or a specific set of practices where we're not trying to boil the ocean, but we're actually focusing in on some specific things that you can take away and have a really focused workshop experience. So what we'll be covering during the time together in Miami is, one, we'll be looking at the mobile landscape, and so trying to find ways that mobile is currently used not only in learning but just in organizations in general. One of the things that Clark briefly mentioned earlier is that a lot of people are using mobile for work, whether you like it or not. They're already using their mobile devices, even if it's for something as simple as checking their email. So it's finding ways that we can look and see how's mobile currently being used. How can we use mobile in ways that we may not have anticipated? So, people often will feel like mobile learning is something that replaces classroom training or e-learning, and that's actually not the case at all. So we'll be exploring ways that you can actually use mobile in the classroom for formal training to augment that training. Ways that you can use mobile for performance support, which is something that Clark talks quite a bit about and gives some really excellent research and examples on. And then also just delivering information when they need it, giving people that are in your organization the information they need right when they need it and in the context that they need it. And then also facilitating social learning. What are ways that we can help support people connect with each other? We'll be actually designing a mobile solution during the event. So when you come away from the event, you'll have designed a native mobile solution. And that's going to be an interactive EPUB. You may have heard of ebooks before, reading them by the pool or whatever. What we're going to be doing is looking at that electronic or digital publishing format to see how can we use that format to deliver training and to help people interact with our content and make our content a lot richer and giving people a more rich learning experience on any mobile device that they choose. So it's a really exciting format, and it's very easy to learn how to do. So we're excited to talk a lot more about that during the workshop, explain the reasons why we chose that as the solution to develop for the workshop, and talk about ways where you can use that in your own organization. And then Nick will be spending some time talking about creating mobile assets. So what can you actually use that you can integrate into your mobile solutions, and what formats are best, what types of content works on a mobile device, and how can we optimize our content for mobile devices. So I'm sure Nick will talk about that in just a minute. And how can we make our content that we're delivering on these mobile devices, how can we make it very interactive, very just-in-time, searchable, specific, and breaking information down just to the chunks of information that people actually need. So that's what we'll be doing in our day and a half. It is a jam-packed schedule covering everything from just an overview of mobile to prototyping your solution and designing your solution to actually developing the solution and developing content that will work well on your device.
And Sarah, you mentioned that design is such a big part of this event, and Clark, that's really a lot of what you're going to be talking about. So can you give us a little bit of an idea of some of the ideas that you're going to be covering in your piece of the event?
Indeed. Thanks. I have a mantra that says if you get the design right, there are lots of ways to implement it. If you don't get the design right, it doesn't matter how you implement it. And so my focus is very much going to be on what are the design possibilities. We need to break out of the mentality that it's just about courses. There's lots of ways we can use mobile to help our people work well. And what we want to do is explore that space and give you examples and some practice to designing that so that you have that repertoire of solutions available. When you go back and find a need in your organization, you go, we could do it this way or we could do it that way. What we want to do is open up and give you practice in thinking about the ways in which mobile can accelerate our organizational success. And we're going to do that systematically across. Sarah mentioned a number of the elements. So augmenting formal learning, performance support, social, contextual, capture. These are affordances of mobile that we can leverage to help, and we're going to go through those systematically so that you guys have that available to you when you have needs in your organization.
Cool. And Nick, I think you have one of the coolest kind of parts of the event where we're actually going to have people shoot some video and record some elements that they can then use in their final product. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So during my part, we're going to be talking about how you can actually create media using your mobile device, as well as how to optimize it for delivery on mobile devices. So we'll actually cover everything from creating text, graphics, audio, and video, and we'll actually use our mobile devices during the event to take some different stills and video and how to actually shoot properly and take advantage of the audio capabilities of your device. We'll talk about some of the enhancements that you can make to improve the quality of your audio and video, and then we'll actually use our desktop computers to optimize audio and video so that when you go to deliver it or bring it into the authoring package, it'll actually play back well on your mobile device.
Cool. So can you all give me your ideas about what are your goals for the event? What do you hope people kind of walk away from learning or understanding about mobile with this day-and-a-half event? And Clark, can you kind of kick us off?
Sure. You know, starting with design, I want you to not be locked into the simple model of let's put a course on a phone. You look at how people use their phones to be successful. They do a lot of things with them. They snap pictures to remember things. They look things up. They use little apps to find things. They, by and large, don't. We want to explore the space of devices so we understand how to, you will understand, what are the prototypical device and what's the role of tablets. We want you to have a rich suite of different ways of thinking about how technology accelerates the way our brains work. And that's really what it is. Digital mobile is really augmenting things that our brains don't do well with the things that the technology does well, and vice versa. And together we're more effective, and I want to give you the capabilities of augmenting people in all the ways possible. And that's what I'd like you to leave with, is a much richer picture of the opportunities we have.
Sarah?
So I have really specific goals for folks when they leave. I think that one of the things that Clark just said that really resonated with me is starting out with really understanding the landscape and understanding what mobile really means. Not thinking that mobile equals an app, or not thinking that going mobile means I published to HTML5. These are things that we've seen kind of perpetuated in our field, often by vendors, and those are certainly parts of the mobile space and parts of the equation, but I'd really love to see people come away with not seeing mobile as being so mystical and so far-fetched from something that we're able to do. I think one of the aha moments that people often get in some of the sessions that I do, and that we've even in this hangout that we've all done before, is that you're probably already doing mobile. There are probably already types of content that you're creating that are mobile ready, that are optimized for mobile. And so how can we practice better design? And how can we look at mobile as an opportunity, not a new thing that we have to now do or a new thing that we have to support? How can we look at how that plugs in that missing piece that's been in our training space for so long, and use mobile as a tool or as an opportunity or a way to solve a problem that we may not otherwise have had the ability to do. So some of the things that we talk about are really geared toward instructional designers and e-learning developers, and even folks that are in management, to help understand, help leave this workshop not thinking about mobile as being something that's way down the line, that's far-fetched, and not something that's able to be done, and not feel so restricted by it, and really be able to break out of that mold and see what things could we do now. Are there problems that we could solve using mobile technology? And the answer to that is almost always yes, no matter what type of restrictions you have in your organization. And so if you come away from this workshop learning something new and learning about an opportunity or a way that you could develop something or solve a training problem that you didn't know about before, that would be a huge win for me. That and making sure that everybody that leaves is able to successfully create the project, that's another big win for me. So I think that would be excellent for everyone to take that away from the workshop, to be able to go back with a piece of content that's reusable. It's a framework that they could take back and actually use to plug in real content and use it as a real deliverable in their organization.
Yeah, I think the ebook is such a smart jumping off point, because you're showing people what the process is of designing mobile optimized content, and the ebook is something that people can do pretty quickly, and we're doing it using all tools that are available, open and free. So.
That's right.
All right, Nick, can you wrap it up for us? Tell us what you want people to take away.
Sure. I think everything's great because this workshop's been really optimized so that we're giving you practical information, and we're giving you an actual workbook that you can take back to your office. So if you didn't digest everything in the day and a half that you're spending with us, you'll actually be able to go back to that reference material and, oh yeah, I remember that's when they said this, and this is how I do that. So you'll actually have, you know, great takeaways to help apply it. It's also a great way for you to get started, whether it's in the design phase with Clark or talking about prototyping with Sarah. You can actually test and use these different methods that we're talking about to help test out a concept or prototype something, so you can actually see whether it makes sense to deliver on a mobile device. And then when you actually move into development, we're giving you actual tools that you can use, as Justin mentioned, that are open sourced, so you'll be able to get back to your office and start building stuff right away. And then as you move higher up, if you were to consider launching an app, these same foundation elements that we're giving you are going to help you move up that process and really understand what's going on, which is really great.
That Nick just mentioned that made me think of kind of it's not something that is an intentional takeaway of this workshop, but it kind of happens anyway, is the fact that a lot of the things that we cover in this workshop are immediately applicable to what you're doing in e-learning, in your design of your classroom training. I mean, we'll talk about the focus is on mobile, but even getting into prototyping, from the point that I started prototyping for mobile, I changed my design process for e-learning. And now I prototype my e-learning too in the same way, because we'll be teaching you a rapid prototyping process. So there are definitely indirect valuable tips and tricks and things that you'll get out of this workshop that will apply outside of the scope of just mobile.
Cool. That's a good point. So to reiterate, the event is March 9th and 10th. We're going to be in Miami, Florida at the lovely Biltmore Hotel. So Sarah, Clark, Nick, thanks for chatting with me today. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in a few weeks.
I can't wait. I can't wait to be somewhere warm.
I hear that.
But it's still cold here. I can't wait to get to Miami and so spend the afternoon down on the beach.
Cool. All right, thanks, guys. And if anyone out there has any questions about the event, you can certainly email me directly. My email is justin@ed.org.
And there's a LearnNow LinkedIn group that you can be asking questions and finding out stuff beforehand as well, right?
Actually, yes, a Facebook group. So yes, I can also include the link to that. All right, thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.